So here we go. There's our step one slide. And just as a reminder, you've got all of this somewhere, so don't need to look at the information, but sellers understand the customer's business and IT environment. So that's your job as the salesperson, and the customer's job evaluating their own business environment. So, and basically, there we have it. That's the job of a step one presentation. If you can help the buyers evaluate their own business environment with your knowledge, then you're doing a good part of your job for a step one presentation. If you can also use that presentation to understand a little bit more about their business and their IT environment, then that's pretty good too. So we've got a presentation in step one to present your company and products, and prove your customer and your knowledge to their industry. So let's look at two different presentation situations. Number one is you have been invited to a customer to present your company. How often does that happen? It's never happened to me. I've never had somebody ring me and say, can you come and present yourself for the purpose of just presenting yourself? That's never actually happened. It does happen sometimes in the context of requests for proposals and tenders, where the customers will invite the shortlisted companies to come and present themselves and their companies so that they know who they're going to be asking for proposals. That's one place. And sometimes it happens in the situation where customers do their homework well. They know that they're looking for solutions to follow certain problems, and they make a short list of a couple of companies and they say, guys, come in. We just want to kind of see your standard company presentation before we kind of move forward to any next step. Yeah, but very often this happens through intermediaries and not really direct with customers. Anyway, that's one step one presentation. Yeah, with that presentation, what are you going to do? Number one, homework. Who are they? What do they do? Yeah, you want this presentation to be more about them than about you. And this is one of the dilemmas of most of the step one presentation slides that I've seen, is that they are more about your company than they are about your customer's organization. Yeah, of course they are. You don't know anything about your customer's organization. So, and they want to know about your organization. So it's logical that there's going to be more stuff about you than there is about them. But the nature of step one is reversed. You want to be telling them more about them and not about you, if that makes sense. Yeah? Which means there's a paradigm shift necessary to make sure that the slides that you're presenting are geared so that they're adding value to their knowledge rather than simply telling them about yourselves. Yeah? Obviously, there's information that they're going to be interested in, but to be quite honest, there's a lot of information that they're not going to be interested in, like the slide that says the history of our company. In 1902, we were founded by Longhard Logerty of Massachusetts, that kind of stuff. In 1918, we were all dead in the war. This kind of historical slide has no value at all. Possibly the last 5 years of milestones have value. Maybe the product development over the history of the company has value, but in a first presentation, I would simply avoid it. I think there's more valuable ways that you can spend your time than by doing the history of our company. Also, how many countries we work in, how many employees we have. I'm not saying that this is irrelevant information, but I am saying that the relevance of this information becomes much more relevant at a different stage of the sales process. Step 4, for example. Step 3, at the end of step 3, then it's got relevance. But at the moment, I question the relevance of company statistics and info like that. Another slide that really bugs me is the logo slide. These are the companies, these are the logos of the companies who are our customers. Yeah. The reason that I don't like the slide is that, firstly, it's too early in the process. Again, customers ask for references later on in the process. Secondly, there are more dignified ways of suggesting that you're working with a larger number of customers. Thirdly, there's a way of creating value for the customer by showing your knowledge of their industry based on the customers that you're working with rather than saying who they are. And fourthly, a whole bunch of pictures on a slide simply doesn't have value. It confuses and gets people to play that great game, guess that logo. Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of one step one presentation environment. The other type of step one presentation environment is at an exhibition or a trade fair or a road show, and where you're presenting for large groups of people on a particular technology or product area or new innovation, and you have a number of people who have been invited from different companies, from different industries. Yeah. So if you're doing this type of presentation, number one, enjoy presenting. Number two, make sure you're good. Number three, make sure you are good, which means make sure you add value to the people in the room. Make sure you know who is going to be in the room. Don't just speak about yourself, your products, and your company. Speak about the people who you expect to find in the room. Make assumptions about the delegates or the participants of this conference or roadshow. Suggest that there are business problems that can be solved for specific types of people who are in the room. Yeah? And don't forget that the job of every presentation is to do a follow-up, and you can't do any follow-up unless you have people on the floor ready to hand out business cards and ready to go and speak to people after the presentation. That is a no-brainer, as the Americans say. I love that expression. It suggests that you don't need a brain to work it out. Isn't that good? No brain. Anyway, so that's the other type of step one presentation that you need to do. And that is challenging for all of the normal reasons of doing a big audience presentation, making sure you're standing in the right place, the fact that most companies have got something like 50 billion slides that they think they need to present in 1.5 minutes. And so here is the rule of thumb. It takes 3 minutes to present a simple slide. So if you've got the stage for 15 minutes, that means you can present 5 or 6 slides really well with no interaction. Okay, maybe if you've got 150 people, you don't really want interaction, but even so, you want a couple of plants in the audience to ask a couple of questions so that you can look cool, answering a couple of hard questions. So I would reduce the amount of slides dramatically, drastically, significantly, and maximize the impact of what you're going to say. And don't put too much text on the slide. It's a killer, especially in large audience situations. And remember your eye contact.